You put a little pressure on my shoulders now. Okay, good. So in here, it's not like a ordinary demonstration to show something. What I'm going to do, I'm going to share my insight. I'm going to share my insight of how to create a concept. And the concept to create a concept is you have to know how the elements works. So everything has a relationship to each other. If you take one element, you add another element, you create a relationship. Like you have a relationship with your father, you have a relationship with your mother-in-law. I don't know the relationship with your mother-in-law. Maybe it's good, maybe it's bad, but there is a relationship. Well, that's exactly the same with the flowers. Each flower has a certain character, certain personality. So it's up to you to find out the personalities and to create a certain combination that exceeds the expectation of your client. This is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to show some arrangements, and we're going to explain the 5 actual vignettes. Is that a good one? Yes? Okay, super. Okay, good. Also, by the way, it's like from time to time I go a little bit down and then you can ask questions. So it's not like a monologue, let's just make it a dialogue, which is really good because there are not so many people, so we can create a dialogue. If you have questions, please raise your hand. Don't shout, don't do it. Raise your hand and we're going to ask your questions. Good one? Good. So the first one, like I said, is like, we're going to start with the white one, and we made a mood board. Why making a mood board? Then you put your concept together before you start your flowers. A concept is you have to have a plan, you have to have a goal. If you don't have a goal, it's really difficult to combine those elements. So you have to have a mood board that tells yourself, but also your client. In this case, the client was the Mr. Gedwani, Mrs. and Mrs. Gedwani, that says, okay, we have like a flower show. Can you do something with your flowers? And indeed, those flowers are springtime flowers. They are delicate flowers. Those flowers, totally different. Those are actually the botanical, the tropics. Those are David Austin. They're really like feminine roses. Those are more the lavish, those are the strong roses, and this is more eclectic. So those are totally 5 atmospheres. It's up to you to decide what you like the most. So I'm going to ask you a question. Raise your hand. Please play the game with me in here. Who likes more the white one? Raise your hand. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. That says a lot about you, because I'm going to explain a little bit why it is so appealing to you. Who loves the tropicals? Raise your hand. 1, 2, 3. Okay, Ken. Okay, good. Okay. Well, we like that as well. It says a lot about you, right? Okay, good. Then who likes the roses, the romantic roses, David Austin roses? Raise your hand. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, good. Who likes that one? The stronger roses, the more stronger. Okay. Oh, okay. 1, 1.5. Okay, that's good. That's good. 2. Okay, good. And who likes that one here? The purple ones. Oh, the black people. The black shirts. They like that. Okay, perfect. So you see, we all like different colors, different shapes, and different textures. So it is impossible, and also like a judge, we were like judging together with Mrs. Gadwani and together with Marios. It's so difficult to judge because it's not what you like, it's about the person who makes it, who is like. Also your client likes some things different like you do. So in this here, if you just go for the mood board, you can see actually is, well, it's all about nature, it's about purity. So what means, in here, if I put it like this, so the first, we're going to call it a name, Verdure. If you translate Verdure, it's like you see the greenness. It's like the flowering all about the green. You actually see grass. I used grass and we put phalaenopsis in it. It's a whole different approach. The glasses, the matte with the shiny, it's a texture, it comes together. In this one here, we made a container and you see the white and the green is coming together. This is a very intimate. It means it's not like extravagant. Like that one is extravagant. The botanicals, the tropicals are really strong. The colors are strong. That one does. It's more about pureness. Sorry. So in this one, if you want to create intimacy, what you're going to do, I'm going to take your eyes and I'm going to lead you into the arrangement because everything happens over there. Actually, what you see here, you see a branch. Is that nice? That's not really nice. It's boring. But what is getting interesting, if you come up, and then we're going to put it on the pedestal, just look in what's happening. So we suck you in a certain story, and the story is, in this case, Verdure. Also, what we're going to talk about is sustainability. And why we're going to talk about sustainability? Because it's one of the 3 points in Expo Dubai 2020, right?
Yes.
Yes, that's a good one. So in here, the sustainability is, well, everybody thinks, what is this word? It's like, it's all about nature. It's not. Actually, it is, we have to find new ways, but not damaging the earth and thinking about, okay, the children of the children, but we may not leave the luxury and the comfort that we have today using other products. So that means if you have something in plastic containers, well, we cannot say no plastic anymore, so no containers anymore. No, it doesn't work. So we have to search for alternatives. In here, we have foam, we have different materials who are not really always very like eco-friendly. So we are searching for ways, for potentials. In this case, we used asplenium nidus. It's like a chef in the kitchen. As he knows, the more he knows his products, the more he knows the difference between fish and meat and pastas. And so he starts to combine all materials. In this case, asplenium nidus, and I have to say, it's huge. The leaves are really huge. They have a beautiful texture. They have a beautiful like edge. So we're going to use the beauty of that edge. Sustainability also has the quality to go really in detail how nature works. And that's the beauty of it. So in this case, what we did, we made like, to coil, that's a technique. So we coiled the asplenium nidus, and they were firm enough. So if you coil it, don't make it too loose. If you make it too loose, you have no support. Remember, it's natural flower support. So it's not on oasis, but it has to be strong enough to support your flowers. In this case, what we're going to do, we're going to place ranunculus, and they are huge. The ranunculus, actually, this is from the Japanese flowers. In here, we're going to use the Japanese flowers in this one, and we're going to use them in this one. We work with the company, and they have exquisite, beautiful material. If you want some information, I'm sure, Mr. Gadani, the papers are here or something if they want to know something. So in here, it's about the size. Round size, round size. So what we do, we will not make some really like opposites or big contrasts. Remember, it was purity. Remember, it was harmony, passive harmony we call it. So it all has to blend beautiful together. If you see the setup in this one here, it all beautiful blends together. This one, so different. It doesn't blend together. So in this case here, what we're going to do, we're going to make all delicate. We're going to take delicate flowers. Like in this case, we just use the ranunculus. It's a beautiful variety. It's a quite new variety. Here, if you put flowers in the water, always make a sharp edge, at least at 45 degrees, because then the water surface is bigger. Some people, they just break it like this. Well, it's not good because what happens, the water cannot go through the stem. So make it really firm and then squeeze it into your leaves. The fact is, in here, as you can see, they're like jumping out. They're like, well, like I said, it's not an explosion. We just call it, it's not exploding, but it's imploding. That means everything comes together. If I want to make it even more intimate, what I'm going to do, instead of like breaking the circle, I'm going to put only one branch out of the container, and you will see it will be a whole different atmosphere. And this is what we do. If I create a concept, this is a small concept, or it's like for a big fat wedding in India, it's all about the concept. So I'm going to put that one out, and you're going to see, you're going to create something totally different. So what you do, you go from exploding, you go back for imploding. The next step, if I'm going to do this one here, and I'm going to keep this one in here, everything comes together. You see, it's a whole different. Flowers, it's all about emotions. Flowers, it moves your inner being. Here, this one here, everything is very smooth. What I'm going to do, I'm going to make some contrast. What is interesting? The contrast is interesting because you've been seduced by adding contrast. So here, the texture is beautiful, but also what's beautiful is the soft green of the Coriota. I know you can't see it, and I'm sorry, I'm apologize about that one, but then we're going to put it on the pedestal. Any questions about the verdure? Somebody? Any questions? Please, not difficult ones. I'm gonna only answer the easy ones.
Any questions?
No? Okay. So if you also create a concept, you can see there has to be a connection. Although they are totally different flowers, although they are totally different colors, so different. But what is the match between the mismatch is there are the screens and the pedestals. Each pedestal, you have the 4 pedestals, but each pedestal is exactly the same form and the same shape. That means shape and form-wise, we have a connection. Also, what is exactly the same is the frame. The frame is exactly 4 by 2 meters. So that means we have like a visual connection only about the form and the shape. Right. Good? Well, okay, that was my first one. Thank you very much. In here, we just call it like an asymmetric. The tension is if you put something here in the middle, a mirror, for instance, that side is stronger than that side. So what we do actually, we just scan. We scan everything. We scan all the forms. We scan colors. If you see there's something wrong, and actually there is something wrong, we're going to stop her. We're going to stop thinking and say, okay, something is wrong. But that's good. If you stop thinking and something is wrong, what you're going to do, it catches your attention. Good. That was the first concept of verdure. So a concept also, like if you start with a concept, you always have like some keywords. In this, the keyword was spring. The keyword was also to be delicate. It also like, you can see, so I use delicate flowers. Also the ranunculus, the stomia are very delicate, very beautiful. You have the pureness about it, and also you have the natural flower support. I was talking about natural flower support, about the leaves, but it's all coming back. We're going back. We're going to start now. We're going to start about this one here, the yellow one. It's all about tropicals. You see the tropicals, they're strong, they're masculine. We're going to have feminine. This is more a feminine side. Very strong colors, red colors, orange colors, yellow colors. And you can see also the shape and the form, but they have to be also very strong. So what we're going to do in here is we're going to use the strengths of very strong flowers. Of course, you can make an arrangement with 1,000 flowers, but sometimes you can make an arrangement with only 50 flowers with the exactly same visual impact. How do we do that? Well, we're going to play with all different elements like negative space. We're going to play with elements like transparency, like openness, like closeness. So what we're going to do, we're going to implement the elements and principles of design, and that's a kind of a language. But I'm going to talk to you a little bit later about the language, because if you know the language, it will make you a better designer, and it will make more a smart designer, and this is what we want. So the next one is here, is the spicy. We just call it, it's spicy because, you know, when I see it, like, it has something like, it's warm, it's like, how would you say, it's like, you can't look at it and become like relaxed. No, you get like some energy from them. And that is also the reason we just call it spicy tropics. It's all about, like, the keyword is like the visual impact. You can create a huge impact. The keyword, the secret of this one here, if you have like 2 nice containers, you only have to put like 2 of those tropicals in. And that's it. It's already like done. You can't do that with a rose. You can't do that with the Latiris. Latiris is not strong enough. They have other qualities. By the way, who is a good singer? Raise your hand. Who's a good singer? Who's a good singer? You don't have to sing, but raise your hand. Who is a good singer? Nobody? I thought you were good. Tai, I knew you were a good singer. Okay. Who's a good dancer? Raise your hand. You're a good dancer? Okay, perfect. So what I can ask is like, you know what? Tai, I'm going to ask you to dance and I'm going to ask you to sing. It doesn't work. Well, voila, that's it. So what we have to do is like, we have to search the potential in each element, in each flower. This flower is a good singer. This flower is a good dancer. So what you're going to do, you're going to create a band. You're going to put I'm going to put Ty in the front because he's the singer. I'm going to put you in the back because you're a good dancer. So it's all about how you connect those elements together. And in here, what is the stringness of tropicals, and I love tropicals, one, they're huge visual impact, they're strong, but also they are strong flowers. The only thing, like, technical wise, it's only a little bit of oasis. We'll squeeze them in, we'll just put them in the oasis. Also those branches, we just call it parallel because we want to make it stronger. It's like a repetition. If you repeat something, we just call it the dynamic of repetition, it becomes stronger. In here, how are we going to make it even more stronger? So we're going to add some flowers in it, and you can see we add some delicate flowers in it. I can ask yourself the question, and I have to ask the designers over here, would it be okay that I put here a sunflower? It will be okay, but it will be not so strong. What is the beauty in that one? This is very strong, this is very soft. So what we create, and this is exactly what they told us, it's all about balancing. So that is very masculine, this is very feminine. And if you can do that, if you know how the flowers react on our mindset, then you can create some emotion. Like I said, I'm not a floral designer. So people say, some journalists, what are you? Are you a florist? Well, actually not. I'm a communicator. I communicate the wishes, the expectations from my client. My client says, you know what? I am this and this and this. So what I said, okay, you got your personality. This is what you want to show to the people. That if the people go home, they have to think, wow, that was great. Or that was an awesome party. The people were dancing on the table. Or something else, if you want to create something, a party that for like relax, while you work in a totally different atmosphere, color-wise, texture-wise, flower-wise. So it's up to you to decide how you're going to work and how you're going to implement the flowers. So in this one here, it's quite easy. You just put them in, and then you create some elegance, because that was actually tour. The nicest thing is those containers are very firm, are very masculine, are very rough. This one is very soft. Look at the texture, look at the texture. So working with flowers is not only working with some petals and colors. Working with flowers is more than that. Working with flowers is, what about the texture? What about the line? What about the transparency? What about the decorativity? What about the proportion? What about the length? And so on. So many concepts, so many ideas. If you put them all together, then you create a concept. For instance, if we have on the hotels, so what we also do is like from time to time I also do hotels and events where we put some small flowers, but the hotels and those events, they want a full impact. How do you create a full impact but with small materials? Well, like in this one, I go and search for the perfect container. This container is already perfect. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the strengness of that container. It's only up to me to be creative. If I can ask you, what is the creativity for you? Well, creativity for me is seeing potential in everything what I see. I see potential in every element. It's up to me to see the element and to see what I can do with that element. In here, so what I do, I'm going to place some coriota. Isn't that cool? The texture, it comes back. This is like, we just call it non-natural materials. This is like natural materials. So I'm just going to combine them, and I'm going to squeeze them really quickly in my container. And to have like arrangements with a certain impact, they don't have to be always like very technical and very like a lot of flowers. It's not about that. It's all about how the flowers talks to you. What do they say and what is the impact? So here, as you can see, we already have like a movement. The next step is what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some Cattleya. Cattleya is a very royal flower. With us, they were so expensive. Now you find them much more. But the elegance and the royalness of that flower is amazing. I have to say, well, we put them not in the cooler, so I have to apologize myself, a little bit damaged. But okay, go with in my mindset and see what is happening here. So what we're going to do, we're going to put only one Catalea, and I'm going to ask you, is that enough for that arrangement or not? Who says yes? Raise your hand. Okay. Who says no? You can come on stage. Come on, you come on stage? Okay. I know you would that. So, but actually this is enough. So it's so strong, and it don't have to be more. Once again, with tropicals, you can have a banana, you can have like a small, you also have like small heliconias. I can imagine that you put a heliconia like this, and it's all. So once again, it's about the idea, it's about the perception, it's to create a perception. By the way, there's only one perception, there's only one awareness, and that's yours. So it's up to me to go in your awareness into a perception. Now, how do we do that? Like I said, the quality of the questions gives the quality of the answers. So you have to ask the right questions to really like know what your client wants. Okay. Good. So we're gonna place that one away, if you want to do it this one. And I want to show you quickly also this one, these two. Yes. The long vase. I want to show you another one. Okay, that's it. So in here as well. Thank you, darling. So here, what happens here? I saw those containers, and well, one is enough. Christy will do the other one. Okay, good. So in here, as you see, the container is so special. So once again, I don't say abuse, but actually this is what I do. I abuse the fact, the weirdness of that container. So what can I do? It's not like a classic container. So actually the only thing is what I do is like, I'm gonna put a net, and this is like, it's not expensive, you know what? It's all about the idea. We just roll it down, because there is like, you can put it in the middle. We're gonna weave some grasses, and we're gonna use a stunning, beautiful vanda, and we're just gonna put it in. Here, once again, you have to put the vanda, once again, asymmetric. I can put the vanda, well, even a little bit more. Okay. If you put it out of center, there's like a movement. We have different gestalts. Gestalt is a difficult word, but it means, I don't want to be too technical, but it means the outcome. So the outcome of the elements. So if the elements is a vanda, elements is beer grass, elements is the vase, well, the outcome is higher than the sum. It sounds really strange, but if you say we have 4 elements, the outcome should be 4. Well, it's the way you put them together that the outcome becomes 8. And this is actually Gestalt. Okay, this won't go. And here, to merge more the container with the flowers, what we're going to do here, we're going to merge it physically to each other, and we're going to put the coriota into the arrangements. That we have like against what I say, you create a certain concept. So really easy, really simple. This is about like working in a hotel, with hotels. This is working with clients who says, you know what, I want to have a result for 2 weeks. Well, no problem, no issue, we can do that. Okay. It don't, like I said, it don't have to be always big and huge to create something. I don't say nice, I say different. Right, okay. Good. Any questions about the botanicals? So if we just go back a little bit on here, if we say, you know, what were my words about the hot colors, like I said already, the transparency, if you just analyze, you just see like here, we have a lot of transparency. You can go in there, you can go over there. You don't have to put them full. There's no reason, because they are so strong. If you go over that, if you see that huge black heliconia on the back, it's so powerful. You don't have to put like 20 or 40 from that heliconia. It doesn't make sense. Here also, the botanicals, we create drama. Drama can be created by if you really put like strong messages, and then we do reinvent. So actually what we do reinvents. We're gonna treat the tropicals on a different way. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna search their possibility, we're gonna search how they grow, what are the potentials, and then we're gonna implement them in our story or in our concept. Any questions? Okay, well, that's the moment to ask questions. Here, the next one is so different. So the difference is like we worked with the Rosehip Bloom. That's a company who is really like, okay, as you can already see on the folder how they work, who they are. Well, you see it's very feminine, right? So if you should take the folder of the tropicals, the tropical folders will be so different. But look how delicate it is, how feminine it is, and also like in here, you got that, well, not really strong. Those are the David Austin roses. This is a company who delivers David Austin roses. David Austin roses is one of my favorite roses in the world. I use them a lot, and I use them a lot because they have a certain royalty. They are very luxury. So if we're just gonna take the mood boards of, oh, here it is already, we just have like the luxury, and they have an added value. David Austin roses, they are really, really smart. I know himself, David Austin, senior and junior, both. The father who started it and the son. They made the brand, and they said from the first moment, you know, we're gonna make something like it is so special. Nobody believed in him. Like from 20 years ago, nobody believed in him. But now, they are the biggest and the strongest. Not the biggest, but they are the strongest brand in the world about fragrance garden roses. So in here, they had an added value because they had a fragrance. Sustainability. Sustainability, here I'm back. Dubai Expo 2020. What is so important? Well, thanks to the roses of David Austin roses, they bring you back to nature. You can see roses, we can see roses, royal flowers also, they have beautiful flowers, but they don't have fragrance. So we always say the strongest communication language is color. Yes, it's true, but it's visually. The strongest communication actually is a fragrance. I'm sure if we just put here some like an air or fragrance of bread, you will think maybe on the bakery, or you will think about something else. Well, it's exactly with the flowers, with the David Austin rose. They bring you back to your base. They bring you back actually to your core, and this is being part of nature. So that is the added value. Of course, we go to pastels, and that's beautiful with the David Austin roses. Pastels, I don't want to be too technical, but pastels are a little bit in the middle of the color circle. So that means every color can be adapted, and that's why they are suitable to use in every arrangement. If you want to add a feminine touch, use David Austin roses, use the pastels, and you will succeed with that. Romance, of course, well, this is obvious. It's very romantic, and of course, it's very feminine. So that's why we call it poetic. Why poetic? You know, if I can say, okay, we can read a book, well, you can read like a book about, oh, the phone book is boring. If you read like poetic, you read between the lines. You have to think, well, it's exactly the David Austin rose. David Austin rose has such a big like brand, so you have to read it between the roses. So in this one here, you have the containers, which are beautiful. They're not that expensive, and the fact they have a round container, they're very shaped, they're very elegant, they are the perfect partners for the rose over here. So in this case here, what we do, we're going to put some grasses in here. And what we're going to create a little bit more openness. So not that much, but as you can see, it's growing already. And we do that because the flowers are strong enough to carry the weight, the visual weight on this one here. I give it a little bit like a certain edge. As you can see, it becomes stronger, right? So why does it become stronger? Because I break and I put the angles. Everything what is static in lines is becoming stronger, is more masculine. Everything what is fluidly, we just call it dynamic, it becomes feminine and becomes more relaxing. So in here, I'm just playing with the two elements. And once again, I'm going to make it asymmetric to make it more interesting to look at. Once again, this is like actually it's a very easy arrangement. It's not difficult at all. But what is difficult on this arrangement is you have to know how to place your crossing lines. Because it looks really easy, but on the hand, if you just do it, you will see it is not so obvious. Everything what is crossing lines in arrangements are difficult. And I have to say, congratulations to the participants of the competition. I was very impressed. Of course, I knew who you are, but I was really impressed what you did. Yes, that's a good question. Well, why is the grass more like this? It's like this because you want to create some tension. So in here, if you want to make it a little bit more feminine, so what you're going to do, you know what? You're going to cut the grasses a little bit out. You see the difference, right? If you want to make it more stronger, well, you leave the grasses on their spot. So it's up to you to decide what do you want to create. You want to create more something like this? Well, no problem. In here, what happens now is a little bit out of balance. So what I have to add an extra grass to give we just call it a counterweight. Is that a good answer? Yes? Okay. You know what? Flowers, it's all about seduction. What we do, we seduce people. And how do we seduce people? By using tricks. Sometimes people in an interview, they say, Thomas, you're not a florist. Sometimes you're a magician. Well, I'm not a magician, but I use tricks. I use elements that I say, you know what, I'm going to trick you. You think you're here, you think you're going to see this, but actually you don't see that because I took you on a journey. I take people on journeys. In my big events, what I do, I create movements, I create gestalts, I create like some experience. Also, my logo is Tomas de Bruyne for our experience worldwide. It's all about that. It's all about having an experience. So once again, with all the information that I gave you, what you can do, you can go back to each element, and then you can see on each container why did he use like a round shape? Why did he use like a square shape? But like this one, with the pure one, you see pure forms and pure shapes, like the glass containers, like the square ones. They're not like a lot of like little things on it. No, it's pure. It's like you can define it really, really easily. Okay. So the next one is, well, we go for the lavish. Lavish, you know what is lavish is like? It's strong. It's actually the same because we use also the roses, but we're going to use them on a different way. We're going to add some extra touch on it. And here, this is the mood board. So if you see the mood board, you already have like a whole idea. Well, this is going to happen. It's like lavish. It's strong. And then it's opulence. It means it's a lot. And then we got the keywords, vibrant pastels. Like in here, the royal flowers, they have beautiful roses that really match that idea. They have like a lot of wedding roses worldwide. They do it. Well, those are the perfect partners to work with. It's all about emotions. Emotions are flowers and we are emotions. So that's a good way to say it. And then it's all about communication. Like I already said, it's up to us to communicate with the people through our flowers. We have to create a platform. And that's why I have to say thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much for organizing this one here, because we created actually a platform in the center of Dubai. So I want to thank you also the participants and the competitions. Thank you very much for being here. Yes, because this is what we need. We have to put the flowers again amongst us. How do we do it? Well, let the people see how beautiful they are. So it's creating and communicating the awareness. Like I said, there's only one awareness. It's up to us to go into your awareness and to say, you know what, flowers are more than just some petals and some colors. It's much more than that. So in here, colors, well, we have, if you just go with this one here, you say they're exactly the same. Well, they're not. As you can see, they're more stronger, correct? So, yeah, well, it's pink and it's like oranges and it's, well, no, it's a whole different combination because they're much, 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 much stronger. So this is what we're going to do. In here, the container is the square container, and it's possible. Like these ones, we don't really like square. Everything has to be more feminine. Lavish can be really strong. So in here, what we just created, we created like the bamboo rings. We could buy them like this, and we just put them together with the ties, the zip ties, and then we just place it into the container. I have to say a little trick is here. We just used some, how do you call it, the water bubbles, okay, because they're going to hold the flowers more and perfectly on the spot. If you don't have that square to lean on, it's not the problem, because if you do it, well, for instance, I'm going to do it here, the tie ribs are strong enough to carry the whole weight. So what you can do, actually, you can do it like on a simple plate or whatever you want to choose. You just put it on and it's self-carrying. So it's a little bit like, okay, we don't need materials to support like foam or something like that. We just search another way to use the sustainability. So in this way, we're going to place it in. And using a concept is, before you start, you have to know what materials. So when I teach, I just say, you know what, you don't start from the start. You start actually from the end. So all the arrangements, all the flowers you're going to put in, it's like, okay, you start from, okay, it has to be that color, it has to be that texture, it has to be that story. Because actually what we do in small arrangements as well, but for sure, if I do like weddings in India, and those are the big fat weddings, like sometimes 600,000, 700,000 flowers I work with, you need a concept. You cannot come and say, I'm going to do something, I'm going to grow to the end. No, it's like the end will decide what kind of materials you're going to use. In this here, I can talk hours and hours a little bit about education, because education is so important. Education is, I know my mentor said it the first time, and I knew it. He said, you know, the cost of the investment is smaller than the cost of the trial and error. It sounds a lot of it, but actually it's true. If you can learn from somebody who already invested in the experience, in the knowledge, it gains years and years of experience. But you need some knowledge. So that's why we just like, there was a huge demand in the market worldwide to say, you know what, is there a program? Can we have something like to learn from you? Can you teach us? I didn't have the time, but that's why we were sitting together, I was talking with Christian, and saying, yeah, we're going to set up a school, and we're going to call it European Master Certification. But actually what we do indeed is like, we just leave our own industry. Because that's a little bit of a problem. We always are so focused on our own industry. We look at our colleagues, which is good, which is really good, because you have to be inspired by some elements. You can't, you need some ideas. So what we do, we go, we stick ourselves within the industry of floristry. But it's so much more than the industry of floristry. It's like, you have like painters, like you said. You have also like car designers. We can learn so many from the perfume industry. This is like something that if I go to Paris, I go to Louis Vuitton. I'm gonna watch the window display of Louis Vuitton. I'm gonna watch a beautiful shop. Well, we were together, Harmony, the shop Harmony, how they work and how they combine colors, because it's so changing. All the trends are so changing. And like I said, trends are very important, but trends are not to be followed. Trends are to be inspired, because if you follow a trend, you're not unique anymore. It's all about your uniqueness. Take yourself in the market with a signature style. And this is what we do in the EMC, right? So in the meantime, I'm almost finished with this one here. So I'm going to create, so between, and that's Lavish, you got like that very static lines. It's so strong from the willow. So, and here what I'm going to add some lines from the allium, and they make it so feminine. Because Lavish is actually, it's a combination between masculine and feminine. And I put them really organic. I don't want to force them. Static lines can be forced, but if you use like dynamic lines, you will have to follow the line of the flower or the material. And then again, I'm totally agree with Thomas. I'm totally agree with you, because you said you have to look at the strength of your flower, and that's a little bit what we do. Okay. Any questions about the Lavish one? Okay. So once again, if you look at the Lavish one, you see here, and that's a really good example of the vases. You got the X vases, you got the latiris, you got the white, you got the pastels, but it is done on a metal plate. So the metal plate is very like strong texture. It's like, you know, it's not smooth, right? But you have that really elegant flowers and the elegant vases. That makes a difference, right? Also the screens are totally different. So that screen is very organic. As you can see, that screen is so static. So although they are very, how do you say, fragile flowers, still you see the lines. Check out how we worked with the screens. And that's why it becomes beautiful together, because we use the strengths of each element. And then last one, and this is one of my favorite ones, this is the curve. And I'm going to take the plate in here, is, you know what, it's about purples. It's about, if you just look at, maybe you can, okay. It's about purples, it's about diversity. And this is also, if we go back to sustainability, what happens actually, that's perfect, in the middle, no, it's okay. So, in here what happens, sustainability is, we each have our own purpose to go for sustainability. We have our own way, we have our own gain. So in here, you can call it, it's kind of eclectic. And this is also what you see. You see those classic domes, the ceramics, you see the metals, the aluminum, you see the glass. So all the materials actually are combined in this vineyard. So in here, it is always a balancing act, sustainability. How far can we go, right? Sustainability is not only about the environment, it's also about the economical, the financial, also like the human race. It's more than that. It's a really difficult word, and I know I really like the word for the Expo 2020. So in here, what we go for, again, like hot colors, but in a different way. Like we use that color range. Here, where is it? Yeah, here, this is gold. We go again for transparency. We're going to use a lot of materials. Botanicals are getting really important. Again, we go for drama, and here, I'm going to put it over here. It comes together. So in this case here, we use the technique of the knitting wool. What kind of better container can I wish? So the container is already giving the opportunity of putting the knitting wool in a certain order. So in here, we're going to use the Echeveria. We're going to place them on. So here, a big one and a small one, and then we just put the 3 different colors. Next one, because we want to create something, we're going to create some height, some depth, we're going to use some branches to put on. And we're going to weave them in. So we have to secure them. It's all about having a good technique. So we secure them into the wires. And we just place them in the water. There is a big chance if you place them in the water that they're going to start blooming. And this is also, if you make something with a longer span of durability, you will make actually something that starts going alive. So I know colleagues who says the moment you cut your flower, you kill the flower. That's not true. The moment, it's exactly the same. The moment we are born on the first, if we get on the world, well, it's the moment we're going to die. And it's exactly the same with the flowers. We go towards our death. With the flower, if you cut them, give them a reason to live. Give them also a reason to be beautiful and to be like part of the luxury of human people. So that's why I always have a deep respect for my flowers. So here we're going to start with those beautiful, amazing ranunculus. Now using actually here a little bit those branches from the magnolia as, once again, the natural flower support. So they support my flowers on a certain way. The colors are stunning, beautiful. So we go for bluish. We respect the color range of the trend, of the mood, sorry. Because I don't like the word trend. It's more, it gives you a certain mood. Carnations. Carnations are like, well, everybody says that carnations are so ordinary flowers. Well, they're not. For me, carnations are flowers with a huge difference in colors. And that was very smart from the carnation growers. They knew they had like an old-fashioned flower. Everybody knows the yellow ones, the red ones. And they had a huge problem because they didn't sell them anymore. On that certain moment, they said, you know what, we have to make them sexy again. And they did. They really did. And they said, you know, we're going to invest in different colors, in big colors, 3 colors. And it's a very, very sexy flower. Here again, the ranunculus. Once again, beautiful flower. And as you can see, the texture is different. We're going to use a fritillaria. We use the fritillaria not only color-wise, but also like move-wise. So see if I'm going to put that one in here. We create a certain movement. And we create some height. Callas antidecia, very nice for flowers and lines. Here, look at the color, it's that Schwarzwälder. And here we're going to break a little bit because we got our own shape, and we're going to make a kind of a movement into the arrangement. I only find only one anemone like this. It's a little bit well, but still it's a little bit too off. That's a pity. But okay. Yeah, okay, this one is good. Yes. Again, the ranunculus. Again, from that one is from Japan again. Scabiosa. Scabiosa has really like intense black colors. We're just going to add in, and we just call it like the pepper and the salt. We make it more interesting to look at. And you have them here in different colors, a little bit darker. If you add, well, actually, this is the same color, but there is more shades added on. And that's why it really fits into each other. The velvet tulips, if you look, and you go really look closer, you will see the texture is so velvet. So which is really beautiful. Some people say, well, when do you stop adding flowers? Well, that's really easy. If you're going to add a flower and it has no extra value, added value on the arrangement, you have to stop. Sometimes you see, well, if we do in a competition, we give the participants like 20 flowers, and they try to squeeze in all the 20 flowers, which is a pity. Because maybe you can make a better arrangement with only like 6 flowers, but you have to put them in the right direction. Also the Calasandesia, look, they are looking at the same direction. If I'm going to do something like that, it's also placed by the same flower, but it has a different approach. So in this one here, something is happening and we create a certain harmony. Let me see. Okay. Now we're going to add some really softer flowers on it. The sweet pea, if you can see, the white gives us, remember when I was talking about white? The white gives it a more relaxed feeling. So this is exactly what I want, because it's getting too busy. Any questions? Why I do play on the symmetric? Okay, well, I do also symmetric. Well, actually, well, this is symmetric, right? With the bananas, right? So it's up to you to decide where you want to go. If you want to create more tension, right, you go asymmetric. If you want to create more calmness, right, you can just create symmetric, sorry. If you want to create more tension, you go asymmetric. So I just go both. The fact for me is like I create asymmetric to create a little bit more tension. That's why I put him out of the center. Here, they were symmetric, displayed symmetric. I made him a little bit more tension. I made him asymmetric, indeed. But I play with both. So exactly. Why it is we create a harmony? We always create a harmony because you have this harmony and harmony. This harmony, we don't talk about that because that it means it's wrong. Harmony, we just split in two things. We're going to have like active harmony. So active harmony is more like, this is more active harmony. The colors are very strong. This is active harmony. So you have like dominant colors, primary colors, you have like activity, the flowers the textures are strong, it's a little bit more the masculine side. Then the passive harmony is, it eases your eyes, it gives you relax. So this one is more relaxing. So if you really like that one, well, it means you really want to have a little, a relaxed moment. If you really like that one, it's so totally different. It's like, it's a very active, vibrant idea. Also this one here. This one is like, okay, it's difficult to position yourself in this one here because so many things are happening. It's a very busy one, right? This is also busy, but it's clear. That one is so happening. That's why it's eclectic. Is that a good answer? Super. Okay, good. But I do respect when doing a cabana. You do a cabana, always on the front, and then you have to mirror size for the arrangements. I can't do that. So respect for you.
So that it's really challenging in cabana.
It's very challenging indeed. Yes. Yes.
Just to give the nice balance and look lovely on side.
Yes.
So that's really.
Well, you know what? It's like what happens now. We get more and more a fusion of designs. When I see in the competition here, I saw people. Okay, they're taking something European way. They're taking something European, Asian way, American way, and so on. Because you know what? We've got Facebook. We've got social media. So we get influenced by our, well, colleagues, right? And what do you pick from your colleague? The things what you like. Some people are really like inspired by color use. Some people are very inspired by the yin and yang, like you said, okay, the masculine and the feminine. So it's up to you to develop your own style. But once again, like we said, it's EMC, it's a kind of a language, all right? Well, thank you very much for being here. Thank you. Thank you for...